T started with a text. Not a "Hey, want coffee?" text. Not a joke. Not even a warning. It was from the CEO, Owen. Don't come back. 8 words. No punctuation. No mercy. Mara stared at it. The waves crashed quietly below her balcony. The sun hit her sunglasses. It was mocking him. Not her. Most people would scream, cry, or throw their phone. Mara? She poured herself a lime seltzer and opened her laptop. Because she had something Owen didn't. The keys. 4 years ago, she wrote the engine that ran their app. Not the idea. Not the marketing. The engine. The code that made millions of users' lives sync perfectly. She didn't sell it. She licensed it. Exclusive. Conditional. Perfectly revocable. And Owen had just triggered it by firing her without cause. Paragraph 7. The clause no one read. The clause that could erase their empire in a heartbeat. She didn't panic. She didn't shout. She didn't call a lawyer. She just activated it. At the office, everything broke. Notifications stopped. Purchases disappeared. Users screamed online. Slack exploded. Emails piled up. Owen didn't know what hit him. It's not a hack, someone yelled. It's not sabotage, another tried. But it was physics. He triggered it himself. Meanwhile, Mara sat on her balcony. Sipping seltzer. Watching the chaos unfold. She didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She let the silence speak. By noon, her screenshot of paragraph 7 was everywhere. Reddit, Twitter, Slack leaks. People finally understood. She built it. She owned it. The company panicked. They begged. Legal called. HR called. Owen called. She didn't answer. Not yet. A week passed. Owen was hiding in Venice Beach. The board was demanding answers. Shareholders were panicking. The app's rating plummeted. Refunds skyrocketed. Investors were furious. Mara didn't care. She was planning something bigger. Her old company had built their empire on her work, on her trust, on her silence. Now, silence would be her weapon. She reached out to her old team. Alana, the designer, still fighting for clean UI. Deepak, the back-end genius who never got credit. Marisol, QA lead, who could smell a bug from across the room. All of them answered. Still building? She typed. Always, they replied. They met over secure calls. No ego. No boardroom theatrics. Just people who cared about code. Mara sketched a new plan. A modular sync engine. Protected. Secure. Transparent. Companies couldn't just plug it in and forget. They had to respect it. Or it would self-expire. The system would live. And no one could take it away. The old company tried everything. Legal threatened her. Owen begged. The CTO tried to rebuild the engine in secret. It was impossible. They couldn't replace Mara. She was the ghost in the machine. The architect. Meanwhile, Mara's new system began to take shape. She designed every module carefully. Every license had teeth. Every endpoint had rules. Every transaction was monitored. No backdoors. No shortcuts. No CEO ego allowed. It took nights of coding. Cold tea. Quiet rooms. No one looking over her shoulder. By the second week, the skeleton engine was ready. They tested it with a small startup. It worked flawlessly. By the third week, multiple companies signed on. No press. No hype. Just results. Then came the first message from Owen. I'll pay anything. Please help us. Mara smiled once. Not because of revenge. Because he finally understood. You can't force respect. You either earn it. Or you lose it. She typed one reply. $1, $150/hour. Minimum 6 hours. Prepaid. Not a favor. Not revenge. Just respect. Mara's new company went live quietly. No launch party. No press release. No emojis. Just clean code. Flawless sync. A team who understood the work mattered more than the title. The dashboard lit up with successful transactions. Clients were happy. Investors were calm. The system was stable. The old company? They crashed again and again. Investors fled. The board demanded Owen step down. Mara? She didn't look back. 3 months later, the new system had dozens of enterprise clients. The core engine? Her design. Protected. Modular. Secure. Every endpoint whispered the truth. Mara built this. She built it right. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't post on social media. She let her work speak. Silence became her victory. Control became her peace. And the CEO who fired her? He learned the hard way. Power isn't about who yells the loudest. It's about who holds the keys. By the end of the year, Mara had built a quiet empire. A team she trusted. A system she controlled. No board could touch it. No investor could influence it. She was no longer the ghost in their machine. She was the architect of her own. And this time, no one could revoke it. She brewed her tea, watched the waves, and smiled. Because she knew. The code was hers. The empire was hers. And the silence was the loudest victory of all. Mara thought she was done. But power never disappears quietly. Her old company had survived the first shock. Not fully, but enough to send hungry vultures circling. By dawn, her phone buzzed with a notification from a private hacker forum. Your old CEO is trying something. He doesn't know you left, but he's running scripts on servers you abandoned. Weird logs. Care to check? Mara raised an eyebrow. Interesting. She sipped her tea slowly, watching the waves. Interesting was her favorite word. It meant something was about to happen. She pulled up the remote telemetry. Sure enough, her old company was running strange scripts. Automated code that tried to recreate her engine. Patched over with shortcuts, backdoors, and desperate workarounds. The system was failing. Fast. Very fast. Her heart raced, not with panic, but with anticipation. This was the part she liked. The first email came at 9:02 a.m. It was from Owen. We think we can patch it. Please, Mara. Help. We need you. She didn't reply. Instead, she drafted a mock proposal. We can rebuild, but it'll take 3 months, 600 developer hours, and every machine learning node you own. Costs? $15 million upfront. Interest applied for every overdue Slack message. She didn't send it. She let it sit. Because waiting was a weapon. Meanwhile, inside the company, chaos grew like mold on bread left in heat. The CTO tried to bypass her license. HR panicked over internal lawsuits. Developers were turning on each other. Who left the clause unprotected? Someone yelled. No one touches the ghost in the code, muttered another. The board didn't understand. They thought tech was replaceable. It wasn't. They were trapped in a system she controlled. That afternoon, a mysterious LinkedIn DM appeared in Mara's inbox. You've done incredible work. We want in on the next project. Full autonomy. Zero interference. Discretion guaranteed. Meet us in person? It was from a stealth venture fund known for backing disruptive tech quietly. Mara paused. She hadn't done a big reveal yet. She didn't need publicity. But this was a chance to expand her control. She tapped one word. Yes. And then she deleted the message. It wasn't a reply. It was a contract in principle. By evening, the first corporate espionage attempts arrived. Some anonymous company had tried to buy her old engineers back, offering obscene bonuses and threats disguised as incentives. Deepak sent a message. They're trying to buy us off. What do we do? Mara replied calmly. We don't negotiate with chaos. We observe. We document. Then we respond. Her team, small but disciplined, moved like elite operatives, not a startup crew. Then the next hook came. Her old company released a public statement. We are experiencing temporary downtime. Mara Lin's departure has no effect on operations. All services will resume shortly. It was a lie. Within hours, leaks showed the company losing millions in transactions. A viral Reddit thread titled, "The CEO fired the ghost who built their empire" exploded. Memes went viral. Even news outlets started asking questions. Mara smiled. Not because of the chaos, but because people finally understood the stakes. The tension ratcheted further the next day. Owen called again. This time, panicked. Mara, we're losing our key clients. We can't patch it in time. Please. Mara listened. Silence. Then she typed. Send your internal logs. Show me how much you've failed without me. Hours later, a 30 gigabytes dump arrived. She opened it slowly, scanning error codes, timestamps, and desperate hacks. Every failed script, every forgotten dependency, every misconfigured backup, it was a map of incompetence. She didn't rub it in. She mapped it. Because her next step wouldn't be revenge. It would be precision intervention. By week 2, the story spread further. Journalists tracked down former employees. Investors called frantic meetings. Competitors began sending offers to Mara, quietly, without press. She didn't engage. She let the pull of inevitability do its work. And then came the first subtle move. She offered Owen a minimal lifeline. Not free. Not cheap. I can patch your system temporarily. $1.2 million. Signed contract. 24 hours max. He accepted instantly. But here's the hook. She didn't patch the system fully. Just enough to stabilize transactions. Just enough to buy herself time. The board celebrated. Owen breathed again. Mara? She was already building the next layer. New tension arrived in the form of leaks and insiders. A developer from her old company contacted her secretly. We want out. Can we join you? Mara's reply was sharp, calculated. Only if you bring integrity. And loyalty. Not titles. Not resumes. Within 48 hours, 3 senior engineers quietly switched sides. The empire she built wasn't just tech. It was people. By month 1, the story reached a dramatic apex. Owen tried a last-ditch hack. A risky code injection into his own production server. Mara watched the logs in real time. Heart steady. Eyes sharp. Hands still. She let the system reject his attempt naturally. Then sent him a single message. Protocol still stands. You never owned it. I control it. Always. And that was the final blow. By month 2, Mara's new company was quietly dominant. Clients trusted her system. No leaks, no crashes. Investors were lining up, discreetly, ready to fund. Her old company? Collapsed, partially rebuilt, partially abandoned. And Mara? She brewed her tea, watched the waves, smiled once. Because she understood the secret no CEO ever learns. Power isn't about money. Power isn't about noise. Power is about control, respect, and the silent precision of knowing your own worth. And in that silence, Mara ruled. Mara didn't sleep that night. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to watch the pieces move themselves. Every ping from her new system was a heartbeat. Every alert from her old company was a symptom of panic. Her phone buzzed. Another hacker forum alert. Owen's trying something weird again. A backdoor looks messy. Thought you'd like to see. She smiled. This was the fun part. The aftermath of incompetence and arrogance colliding with her invisible hand. By the next morning, Mara's team was fully assembled. Alana, design lead, was creating an interface that was both beautiful and impossible to misuse. Deepak, back-end genius, was building modular safeguards to prevent corporate panic from causing disasters. Marisol, QA, was finding vulnerabilities before they existed, sniffing out bugs like a bloodhound. Every single one knew one rule. No ego, only precision. Mara sent them a single message. Chaos is predictable. Learn the pattern. Control it. Meanwhile, Owen had made a fatal error. He hired a shadow IT team to rebuild the sync engine, thinking that raw manpower could replace expertise. Instead, they triggered a cascade of corrupted data loops. Users were locked out, transactions disappeared, push notifications bombed. The app was melting in real time. The board demanded action. Owen panicked. Call Mara. We need her back. But Mara? She didn't respond. She had already anticipated this. New tension. An internal mole at her old company. Someone was trying to feed Mara misinformation. Logs were manipulated, files altered. She noticed immediately. Mara's response was cold precision. She traced the source, isolated the files, created a trap protocol that would log every attempt to manipulate the system. By the time the mole realized they were being watched, Mara already knew their identity, location, and network path. She didn't expose them publicly. She didn't need to. The fear of discovery was enough leverage. Meanwhile, public attention was escalating. Tweets calling Owen the CEO who fired the ghost went viral. Reddit users were live-streaming their failed app transactions. News outlets speculated about the internal collapse, asking if Mara's departure caused it. Mara watched all of it passively. She didn't engage. She didn't need to. Chaos was telling the story better than any press release could. And then came the first real threat. A rival tech company reached out. "We've watched your work. Interested in collaboration? But we require exclusive control." Mara paused. She replied carefully. "I work with integrity. My systems are not pawns. Respect my terms or don't call." The reply was a thinly veiled threat. "We can make terms, or we can destroy your launch window. Choice is yours." Mara didn't flinch. She simply responded. "Choice has consequences. I suggest you calculate carefully." Tension mounted. The audience in her TTS video would feel sweat, anticipation, and chess-like strategy. Inside the old company, Owen was desperate. Emails were flooding him. Shareholders were threatening lawsuits. Key clients demanded answers. He tried to patch the system again. This time, he accidentally deleted 6 months of logs. Panic turned into terror. The board demanded an emergency vote. The CTO whispered, "We can't fix this. Not without Mara." And Mara? She was calmly drafting a new layer of her architecture, modular, secure, and self-defending. A twist. Mara's new company faced an unexpected bug. One minor vulnerability in telemetry caused a small misfire. It was harmless but noticeable. Mara used it as a teaching moment for her team. Even perfection isn't immune. Expect chaos, control it. This is important for the YouTube story. Humanizes Mara, adds stakes, shows she's brilliant but not infallible. Days passed, and Owen tried a blitzkrieg approach. Bribed former employees. Leaked internal memos to journalists. Threatened clients with temporary downtime. Mara anticipated everything. She built automated countermeasures. Any attempts to access her system externally triggered logs. Any misinformation campaigns backfired. Data integrity checks silently corrected all sabotage. Owen's panic was visible to his own team. He literally started hiding in co-working spaces, hoping no one recognized him. And then came the ultimate cliffhanger. A mysterious encrypted message arrived on Mara's private line. "We know who you are. Stop your work, or consequences will be severe." Mara didn't flinch. She read it once, twice, then handed it to Alana. "Prepare a response," she said calmly. Not angry. Not defensive. Just calculated. Her team smiled. They had been waiting for this exact challenge. Because Mara didn't just react. She engineered the battlefield. The sun rose slow, bleeding gold across the balcony where Mara sat. Her laptop hummed quietly, a heartbeat she alone could hear. She sipped her cold brew, watching the city below wake in ignorance. Meanwhile, the old company, her former empire, was unraveling faster than any disaster drill could simulate. Owen was awake early. Panic made him jitter like a marionette cut from strings. Emails piled up. Slack notifications flashed red like alarms. Key clients were threatening withdrawal. The board had called an emergency meeting. He knew the truth. He had to. But acknowledging it would require swallowing pride, something Owen had never learned to do. At Mara's new HQ, things were calm. Alana was sketching interface flows. Deepak was securing modules with self-healing algorithms. Marisol was running QA tests that no human should ever be able to break. Mara tapped the screen once. Status. Each of them replied with a single word. Stable. Mara smiled faintly. This was the moment where chaos met controlled precision. The first attempt at sabotage arrived by morning email. Someone had gained partial access to a telemetry node from her old company. The alert pinged softly. Mara didn't flinch. She opened the trace log. Every step, every packet, every attempt had already been anticipated. She implemented a silent countermeasure. By the time the attackers realized something was wrong, Mara had already logged their IPs, identified their origin, and rerouted traffic back into a sandbox. No damage done. No alarms. Just control restored. Owen didn't know how to respond. He tried to rebuild. He tried to bribe, threaten, manipulate. Each attempt failed spectacularly. The old engineers didn't just leave, they had been co-opted into Mara's silent network, quietly observing, ready to intervene if anything crossed a line. Public attention turned into global spectacle. Tech blogs ran headlines. The CEO who lost his empire to the ghost in the machine. Social media memes circulated like wildfire. Reddit threads exploded with speculation. Who is this Mara? Why does she own the engine? Every ping, every article, every post was fuel for Mara's silent strategy. She didn't reply. She didn't need to. Chaos was already proving her point. And then the real challenge arrived. A mysterious encrypted message hit her private line. Stop your work or face consequences beyond code. Her team gathered. Alana raised an eyebrow. Deepak tilted his head. Marisol simply said, "We knew this day would come." Mara's response was calm. Prepare a counter-protocol. Not defensive. Precise. Permanent. Every line of code written in the next hour was a strategic move in a silent chess game. Meanwhile, Owen escalated. He leaked internal memos to journalists. Threatened clients with downtime. Hired outside IT firms to attempt brute force reconstruction of the engine. Each move triggered a counter-response from Mara's systems. Brute force attempts were redirected into decoy servers, creating the illusion of chaos while the real system remained secure. Leaks were captured, traced, and neutralized without a single alert to the public. Attempts to manipulate telemetry logs self-corrected automatically. Owen's panic was visible to his own team. He became frantic, irrational, and desperate. Every failed move chipped away at what little credibility he had left. A tense cliffhanger. A former ally of Mara's from the old company tried to sell secrets to a competitor. Mara noticed immediately. She traced the communication, identified the target, and implemented a silent quarantine. The competitor never knew they were blocked until months later. By then, Mara had already fortified her systems and isolated the mole. Tension escalated further. Investors, noticing the old company collapse, tried to poach Mara. They offered millions for an exclusive license. She smiled. "Not until my terms are respected," she said. Her terms were clear. Integrity first, control always, zero compromise. No one argued. No one tried to pressure her. They understood. Inside the old company, Owen tried one last gambit. A public apology, media blitz, and attempt to reclaim relevance. It failed. Users had already migrated to Mara's new system. Internal engineers quietly confirmed the old infrastructure was unsalvageable without her. Owen's final mistake? He underestimated the silent work of Mara's team. Every module, every API endpoint, every transaction was protected by invisible safeguards. By now, the world was watching Mara quietly dominate. Tech analysts began to speculate, she is the silent genius of the decade. Investors prepared to fund her next ambitious project. Her old company became a case study in hubris, mismanagement, and underestimating talent. Mara? She built quietly, deliberately, and without a single headline demanding her attention. Final sequence. A full-blown, cinematic climax. Mara launches a modular, adaptive sync platform. Every client logs in seamlessly, unaware of the invisible siege she had survived and won. Reports from her old company leak internally. They switched to Mara. Full migration completed. Engine stable. Zero downtime. The world didn't know her name yet. They only knew the result. Mara closed her laptop. She leaned back, the silence of victory louder than any headline. She didn't need recognition. She didn't need revenge. She had built something indestructible, something only she could control. And in that moment, Mara realized. This wasn't just the end of one empire. It was the beginning of hers.